Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Second. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland! This is for you!
It's finally happened, Tim.
It happened, but hey, it's okay. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Block the Shot to Stop, our Blue Wire podcast covering the one, the only Cleveland Cavaliers. I am Tim Daniel. He is Skylar Webker. And yes, unfortunately, the day has come. We are covering our first regular season loss on this show, but that's okay, man. Really, I'm going to say something a little hot takey here, and we'll get to the game here in a moment, Skylar, but knowing who they didn't have on the floor, knowing that Darius Garland really struggled tonight, I feel better about the Cavs than I did the night before.
Yeah, I mean, to have a close game where you're shorthanded and one of your star players had an off night. Granted, they played Garland very hard.
Yeah,
they made it hard on Garland.
For
so
sure.
That's something to make an adjustment for. Obviously, I don't think our two-headed monster in the front court are going to go for a combined 21 for, God, math is hard right now. No, 16 for 51.
Yeah, it was their night. And Mitchell was really good in the second half. The first half was just kind of a really, really tough game. So yeah, Boston gets the victory over the Cavaliers tonight, 120-117. Jayson Tatum, hats off, man. Give that dude his flowers. 33 points, 12 rebounds tonight. Certainly felt like at the end, neither team wanted to win. But how you want to do this? You want to go through the game? You want to go big picture? You want to kind of just roll with it? Where do we start?
Man, I don't know. We obviously knew they weren't going to go 82-0.
Right.
You know, but it does. The streak has ended. It does feel kind of refreshing in a sense, like, okay, now our season can start. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
we were just, oh, the streak is so fun. We're having so much fun. Okay, now that the season has ended, or not the season, now that we had our first loss of the season, like Devin said, they've only lost one game. Now
Right.
It feels like we can kind of get on to like the actual season, it feels like.
Yeah, and look, you have a chance tomorrow to start a new win streak. So
That's true.
it is what it is. Before we do kind of get into the game, I do want to make sure I give a quick shout out. I know Kevin's not with us tonight, but Kevin did a great job doing a home and home with the Green with MV guys, previewing tonight's game against the Celtics. And their insight about the Celtics was phenomenal. I felt like just about everything they said was spot on with how the game went tonight.
Yeah.
And they were great. So thanks to those guys. I can't wait to do another one. I know we got another matchup coming up December 1st between the two teams. So hopefully we can get back together then and do another show. But let's kind of look at this from the aspect of the NBA Cup, because I think now you look at it, the Cavs are technically in third place now because no, they're not.
They're still in second.
Point differential. You're right. So since they only lost by 3, they're still in second place behind Atlanta. So you feel all right. So with cup wise, still in good shape, still above the Celtics, even though they lost the Celtics tonight. The Celtics have a 2-point advantage. The Cavaliers have a 15, but the Celtics do have the tiebreaker in the sense if they get to that point for the wild card. So only a game out of the top spot in the group and still have a really good chance of getting that wild card spot because, now the Knicks have a 2-0, the Bucks are 1-0, but Cleveland, Miami, and Boston are all 1-1. And that's, of course, a lot of games to kind of be played tonight and on Friday. So, hey, still alive in the cup situation. That's here and there. Negative.
Plus, I think our next cup game is against Atlanta.
Yeah. So you have a chance to really make up a lot of points.
Right. Yeah. And if it's point differential, we win that game. We're both 2-1, and the Cavs have a higher point differential.
Right. And that's next Friday afternoon, the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Also, fantastic thing happening that weekend. Skylar Moana 2 is coming out.
I tried to watch it last night, or the first one last night with my son, and he was not about it.
Oh, dude, my daughter is all about it. All about it.
Dad's
anyway,
talking Cavs.
Dad's talking Cavs. That's right. So let's kind of go through this real quick, because realistically, this game is just kind of the only quarter the Cavs were really out of it was the second. Because Boston went ballistic in the second and hit a bunch of threes, and like they do, Tatum was awesome, Peyton Pritchard was awesome. Jaylen Brown kind of struggled tonight, but Al Horford was really good. Sam Hauser was really good. It's just one of those nights where the Celtics barrage kind of comes on you, and you're kind of like going to there, you're down 16, but you look and you go, well, Mitchell and Garland haven't played very well just yet, so I'm not worried. I think that they can kind of get something going. Third quarter comes out, Pritchard hits a three, Derek White hits a three, and you go, oh, 20 now. And then Mobley just kind of takes over, and they're switching him really well. He's getting on the matchup advantage quite a bit in the paint, and he has this great third quarter. By the way, Skylar has now hit his 4th straight prop bet. So listen to Skylar. Don't listen to Kevin and I, apparently.
Hey, I'm on a hot streak, man.
You are. You're on a roll. So keep it rolling, man. But our listeners definitely appreciate it. But and you're also taking pluses, by the way, and that's like the other thing. Like I bet safe. I bet like to double my money, and you bet like the let's make profits. So I respect.
Yeah, I want to take these sports books for everything they got.
That's right. But Mobley's terrific in the third quarter, and Mitchell has a really good quarter as well. In the fourth quarter, they cut it down to 2 at one point, and you're like, okay, cool. So and then the Boston barrage happens again, and you're kind of in the situation you are where, again, we're going to talk about this. We talk about this all the time with this Cavs team. You have to get them down. 20 points is not enough. You have to get them down 25, 30 points for them to be out of a game, it looks like. And I'm not even sure 25 is enough because we have no evidence of it. But what we're seeing right now from this team is this ability to just kind of overcome the obstacles. And obviously we're going to talk about negatives about the night. So I don't want you to think like we're not disappointed they lost tonight, because we certainly are. And we certainly think there are things that could have been better. But I think big picture, if you look at how they lost the game tonight, how competitive they were against a team that's really the measuring stick, and the fact that, they hit 3 of those threes that Garland Mitchell missed, we're having a whole different conversation right now. I feel better about the Cavaliers now than I did on Monday night. On Sunday night after the Hornets game. And what I say by that is I now know when they're in these games that if they're on, they can win these games. And I now know that if they're on, they're really hard to beat. And tonight they weren't on, and they were still really hard to beat.
Yeah. Especially when they came out in the third quarter and put 40 on Boston in the Garden, that is very hard to do.
Yes.
It's a very good Boston team. It's a very well-coached Boston team. And in the Garden it's just hard. And they put up 40. So we're a 3-point differential. That's 1 bucket. That's 1 bucket from going into overtime.
Yeah. And let's also take into account, like we mentioned, so no Isaac Okoro tonight, no Karis LeVert tonight. Obviously, you've been on Max Strus all the year. And no Isaac Okoro tonight. So you're down Dean Wade, yes. You're down all your wings. All your wings are out. And you're going in there against the team that has arguably the 2 best wings in the league. So you're already at a disadvantage. And you found a way to fight in this game. You found a way to be competitive. You found a way to just about win the darn thing when you were down 21 at one point. Another really great night for George. For George really kind of stepping up when he's called upon. So kudos to him. Ty Jerome, another night, TJ Maxx, where he made some big plays. At one point, he took Jayson Tatum off the dribble to the rim for a layup. And I was like, yeah, okay, TJ Maxx, I see you.
Great. What was Kevin's quote? TJ Maxx is a great bargain.
Yep. It probably is the best contract in basketball right now, if you look at it.
Oh, absolutely. 2 years, $5 million. That's literally the minimum for 2 years.
Yeah. And you're talking about a guy that, so his market's going to be really interesting come July. Thank God we don't have to worry about that yet. But I'm really, really fascinated to see what his market's going to look like. So let's kind of go through real quick and just kind of talk about a few different things, obviously. And we'll get to the New Orleans game as well here in a minute. So in the group, obviously, let's start with 26-20 in the first quarter. And you feel really good, right? Because they couldn't hit anything in the first quarter.
Right.
You're going, okay, cool. Like, this is fine. They're going to be okay. Tatum's obviously doing Tatum things, and Tatum was tremendous tonight again, 33, 12, and 7. I really think that if we had an MVP vote, which if we did, we could not have this conversation right now. He would probably be my pick for MVP.
Yeah.
I just think he's been so good, and what he went through this summer with the Olympic team, I really think he's just been so good. But so you're like, okay, cool, you feel good. Second quarter, they go nuts, right? They're hitting everything. Everything looks good. Like you said, third quarter, they go, the Cavs kind of return it. Mobley is getting all the switches he wants. Peyton Pritchard's trying to guard him in the post and in the paint. And you're like, okay, that's barbecue chicken. JA is having another really good game as well. And you're thinking, all right, cool. So this is solid. This is what you want. And then of course, fourth quarter happens and Pritchard, Horford, and Tatum just have really, really good quarters. So give them their flowers. Look, you're not going to find a bigger Celtics hater in this world than me. But I will give them their credit. They were awesome tonight in a game that they knew they needed to step in because they already had that loss to the Hawks. They already have 3 losses this year. And they thought they had to put away and they didn't. So again, that's why I feel really much better about the Cavaliers than I did a couple days ago when they were undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, you feel good. It's still, I still feel it's just somber because this was a game that we could have won.
Yeah, for sure.
We could have won this game. Just poor performances from some of the guys that we needed to, and being shorthanded. And I know some of these guys turned it on late, but late once you're playing catch up, it felt like they kind of got baited into Boston's game plan, which was to shoot threes. I feel like they settled for a lot there in the first quarter to try to just match what Boston was doing. So then when at halftime, that had to be a talking point of Kenny Atkinson because they came out and attacked the paint, hit them where they were weak. And that's why Evan Mobley and Jared Allen were able to contribute in a much higher way in that third quarter.
Let me ask you this. If that game is played at Rocket Mortgage or if that game is played on a neutral site, do you think they lose?
Oh, they blowout win. I think just the energy inside Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse is crippling to other teams, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if that's like the semifinal game in Vegas, I think the Cavs win. And I think that if that game's at Rocket Mortgage, I don't think it's a blowout. I'm not going to your levels there. What up, Kev? Everyone checks in on their day off. I love it. But
we live for this, man.
We do. But I do think that they probably won that game if it's in Cleveland. And
absolutely. Yeah.
I also think if they have Isaac Okoro, they probably win that game because Isaac Okoro is your defensive answer on Jayson Tatum. No one's going to stop Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, Jayson Tatum probably wasn't. He would still get his own, no doubt about it, but he's not getting 33.
Right.
Jayson Tatum gets 24, 25. That's the difference in the game there.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking about the fact that Jaylen Brown had a decent fourth quarter, but Jaylen Brown wasn't very good tonight.
No, he was not.
Yeah.
What did he end up with? Because he got into quite a bit of foul trouble. 5 fouls on the night.
Yeah, Al Horford got in foul trouble. Al Horford could not guard Evan Mobley.
No.
Could not. And that might change when they get Porzingis back in a couple weeks. Hopefully he's back December 2nd, not December 1st. But if he's back, bring it. We're not scared. Want to kind of go into a couple of the bench guys tonight who had to step up and play more minutes. Obviously, the first one we're going to talk about is Craig Porter Jr., who has played pretty well in spurts when he's been in the court, but tonight, definitely his best game. 6 of 8 from the floor, 3 of 3 from 3, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And it makes you feel even better about the Cavs' depth that they could rely on a guy where they had to rely on Ty Jerome a lot more tonight because of Garland's struggles and how short they were on the bench. They played 3 bench guys tonight. So they played what would look like a season rotation, obviously with different guys because they would have their guys back by the postseason. But Craig Porter Jr. in his opportunity stepped up big tonight. Was really good.
Yeah, there was a stretch there where he was the only one hitting
He
any
was
kind of shots.
Yeah,
he was great. Yeah, I'm a big Craig Porter Jr. fan.
Me too.
Not last year because he kind of fell out of the rotation last year, but the year before when he first kind of arrived, or maybe it was last year when
last year was his rookie year.
Yeah. So he started the season. He was like pretty much the backup point guard because Ricky Rubio left. That's right.
Yeah,
I'm getting caught up now in my Rolodex of Cavs years. And he stepped up big last year, and then towards the end of the year, kind of fell out of the rotation. So it's good to see him playing well, and contributing. Plus 12 tonight. I mean, that's great. That's a great plus minus for a bench guy coming off 25 minutes too.
There's moments in this game where Jayson Tatum's coming down a full-headed steam and he's stepping up and trying to stop the ball. That's impressive. That's impressive for a guy who has no fear. Because Tatum is a full-on mamma jamma. So I don't feel too concerned. Yeah, Kevin Pocott says, call it what it is. Mitchell had a bad game and Garland had his worst game in a long time. That might happen once in a 7-game series. I completely agree.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, and look, if it was a 7-game series, they're gonna have one of those nights too. Even last year when they beat the Cavs in 5, they had one of those nights.
If we for some reason do match up with them anytime in the playoffs, but in the Eastern Conference, I do think home court advantage is going to be the difference maker in that series. I think it goes to 7, and I think home court advantage is the difference maker. I'm going
to piggyback off that take. I think we realistically saw the 2 best teams in the league tonight play each other. I think Oklahoma City is really good. I think Phoenix is really good. I don't think they're as good as the 2 teams we saw play tonight.
No, I agree. I think the closest would be Oklahoma City, but I also think they're a very young team that I think once they get into bigger spotlights, they'll see the kind of like the Cavs a few years ago, where they're like the spotlight was way bigger than what we were thinking. And that's what it takes. It's a growing team to build continuity. You're going to have a year or so of that.
Yeah, for sure. Sydney says here, and I agree with this. She says, never thought we were out of it. I didn't either, even when they were down 20. Just what we've watched all year, and I know they hadn't been down that much before. But I looked at the Knicks game in the Garden when they were down 11, like halfway through the third, and the first Bulls game where the Bulls gave them everything they had, and they still found a way to pull it out. It's kind of the team I feel like the Cavs are. It's just that they're just not. It's going to take a lot to beat them. It's going to take their worst game and probably some of your best players' best games to beat them.
Exactly.
And that's what happened tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened tonight. We weren't as sharp as we normally are, and I'm struggling to remember. Like Boston looked like Boston.
Yeah.
And we didn't look like us. So the fact that they looked like them and we didn't look like us tells us that when we are playing like we play, we're even more difficult to win. We probably win this game.
Yeah, I think we do too, man. Look at you got me saying we now, Skylar. Look what you did to me.
Where that meme where the guy's wearing a Cavs jersey and he's putting his hand in the huddle against the TV.
Yep. That's absolutely us. So on the Celtics side of things, Sydney also breaks another point here. I want to talk about Neemias Queta, who super under the radar player, was a very high pick in the second round in his draft. Ended up being on a 2-way. That guy's getting a full deal. That guy's getting a full contract. They're strapping him on to a full contract at some point. He was really good tonight. His numbers weren't blowing away but like he guarded Evan Mobley really well in stretches.
He was the only answer they had for Evan Mobley.
Yeah, for sure. Mobley has some crazy moments tonight too. So he had the point where he blocks Tatum and comes down and dunks. I was looking at Blue Sky, and I guess there are some Mobley haters out there still. And my question is, why? Because realistically, he has been the most improved player in the league this year. He hasn't been better than Wemby, but Wemby was already a generational talent. So
Yeah.
like
That's why Wemby's called the alien. Like he's
Yeah.
one of one.
right. So like I don't understand these people who don't want Evan Mobley on your team. He's a top 25 NBA player right now. He's making a case to be a potential starter in the All-Star game. He's probably going to be all defense if he stays healthy the whole year. So don't be silly. Don't be silly. This is a cornerstone of the franchise. And
Absolutely. That's why they give him max extension.
We're very lucky he plays for our team. So stop with that madness. Yeah, TJ Maxx tonight. I mean, another 10-5 where he just kind of makes big plays. Also guarding Jayson Tatum, drawing fouls on Al Horford and getting to the line to keep the game close. I know we're talking glowingly about a game they lost, but I like to be optimistic. I like to be positive. And, like I said, we have talked about some of the frustrations of the game. But I thought he was really solid tonight. And then, I heard he has a new nickname. Sydney brings up the minivan. I like this new G-Wagon nickname. I think I can get behind it.
Yeah, they gave him that last year.
Yeah.
When the joke for anybody to fill anybody in is that when he was in Utah with Donovan Mitchell, he would see Donovan Mitchell go just crazy acrobatic, just downhill to the cup, and he would say, if Donovan Mitchell's a Ferrari, I'm a minivan. It takes me a little bit to get there, but I get there. And then when he came to Cleveland last year, they upgraded him from minivan to G-Wagon.
Yeah, he's funny. And he was good tonight too. Don't love him guarding Tatum in big stretches of the game, but thought he held his own, thought he was pretty good. I just think that at the end of the day, they had all their guys, and our guys didn't have their best game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, but every time on FanDuel Network now, they have the post game. Tristan Thompson and Georges Niang do theirs together, and they're so funny.
They are funny. Yeah. Man, Tristan Thompson. But said, don't worry about the cup. We're still in good shape. We got the Hawks next Friday at 2:00, and you win that game. It's probably gonna be a 3-team race because the Celtics are probably gonna beat the Bulls in their matchup. So you're still alive. You still feel good. All right. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap up their conversation about the Celtics game, and we'll look to tomorrow. You got your rematch with the Pelicans, your second and final time you'll play them for the year. The Pelicans are now down to 4-10 because they have a skeleton crew of a roster right now because everyone under the sun is hurt. They are currently right now, Skylar, losing in their cup game to the Dallas Mavericks 63-51 at halftime. Trey Murphy is back for them. That's really good. But realistically, this is a game where, yes, both teams are traveling, but one team is traveling from Boston to Cleveland and the other is traveling from Dallas to Cleveland overnight to play this game. My big curiosity is who plays tomorrow?
For the Cavs or for
the Cavs?
The Pelicans.
Do all 4 guys play since they had the long break after that? Do they sit one of the core 4 like they had? They sat Allen. I mean, they sat Mobley, and then they sat Mitchell Sunday. Do they sit Allen or Garland tomorrow? I don't think they do because I'm sure they want to win and get another win going. But I again just saw this team early last week. First quarter was close. Rest of the game you took over.
Yeah.
You feel good about 16-1.
Yeah, 16-1. I think they probably start everybody and with the hopes of getting to a blowout and resting him at the end, which obviously you can't hope on. You got to beat everybody in the team. Yeah. Doesn't matter if they're a skeleton crew or not. No Zion, by the way, for the Pelicans. I didn't know that he went back.
He's still, I think they did one of those indefinite leaves for him.
Yeah. I know he had some issues in the beginning of the season. We played against each other and he came back. And then I didn't know that he went back out.
Yeah. So tonight, this was their starting lineup. They went with Trey Murphy, who I love Trey Murphy, Brandon Ingram, love Trey Murphy. Javonte Green started at point guard. Draymond Green too, basically. Brandon Boston Jr. started and Yves Misi started. So not exactly murderer's row when it comes to the
Even
Pelicans.
their bench is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who I like, Jamal Cain, Jalen Noel, Trey Jameson III, and I think that's it so far. Yeah. Daniel Tice has not played tonight. Antonio Reeves has not played tonight. And Makovich has not played tonight. So,
because the only guy that gave us real trouble last time that we faced was Jose Alvarado. And now is he hurt now too?
probably. At this point, if I like check an injury report and it says Pelicans, I just kind of grow past it because I'm like just expecting to be like the whole roster. Do you remember in the bubble when the Nets had to basically scrape a whole roster together because their guys were either injured or opted out?
Yeah, I do remember that.
That's the Pelicans right now. That's who the Pelicans are. So yeah. I'm not overly concerned. I think they get a nice win to kind of go into this long break they have. Their first break, of the season before they play Sunday, which Sunday they have Toronto coming to town. So
I saw on X, like they've done the marathon right now, and then now they're about to do one game in 6 days.
Yeah.
That's so much better.
We are well aware of the marathon because we're here after every game.
That's true. That's true, man. Just one game in 6 days, though. That sounds like a nice little break.
I know. What do we do with ourselves?
Oh, Kevin's moving and I'm moving.
That's true. That's true. What do I do with myself? Put more lights in this tree.
Your family.
Put more lights in this tree behind me.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, do you like the ornaments or basketballs?
I do. You gotta get some baseballs on there too.
Yeah, I do. Kevin, I
love the moon dog in there too.
Yep, that's right, for sure. Well, dude, I think we can go ahead and wrap this up. We'll kind of touch on the Pelicans game tomorrow. We'll do the post game, obviously, but real quick, I do want to make one quick announcement. As you know, here at the Block the Shot to Stop, if you've been following us along on the socials, I know Cynthia entered. We're doing a nice little contest where we're giving away this bad boy right here, 2021 Panini Prism Cracked Ice Evan Mobley PSA 9 rookie card. That was really hard for me to part with, but I love our show so much and I want people to follow along. So we're giving this away. Your chance to win it is pretty easy. Skylar's keeping up with the X account. I'm keeping up with the Blue Sky account. All we want you to do is send us screenshots that you are subscribed to us on your podcast app of choice and the YouTube channel. That you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you subscribe to us on a pod. You don't have to leave a review. You don't have to show us that you're listening to the show. If you do, that's great. We'll appreciate it. But just send it to us, screenshots of both, showing that you're in there. For every entry you have, so you can get a maximum of 2 entries, and then we will pull this Sunday after the Raptors game to determine the winner. I know we have a couple entrants on the Blue Sky side right now, but on Blue Sky, we are bsscavs.bsky.social. On X, we are at the Block the Stop. So make sure that you go there, give us a quick chance, give us some subscriptions. This needs to go to a good home for the holidays. A good Cavs fan needs to get this for either themselves or a kid or their kid. Evan Mobley rookie cards. If you're watching how he's playing this year, they're only going to go up in value. So take a chance. Let's go win some stuff. We're in a giving mood for the holiday season, having a really fun Cavs team. So I don't know. Did I touch on anything? Did I miss anything contest wise?
Contest wise, great. I mean, we are all in the giving season between that and our free or in our in our bets that we're getting you money.
That you are getting money. I'm slumping. I'm slumping. I was really good the first couple weeks, and then you kind of took over, and so you were struggling there for a little bit, but you're on the hot streak now too. So we're now 9-6 in bets.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll take it.
Take our betting advice and enter the contest to win the Evan Mobley rookie card.
Exactly. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Skylar and I will be back tomorrow night, talking about the Pelicans before we get this nice little break so Skylar and Kevin can pack their houses up. Thank you all so much for hanging out. We definitely appreciate it. Yes, they lost today, but the sky's not falling. They're still 15-1. They're still the 1 seed in the East. Everything's going to be okay. Got plenty of basketball to play. On behalf of Skylar, on behalf of Kevin, this is Tim Daniel. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow.
Go Cavs.